Empowering parents to reach out to their teens.
They get uptight about it or get reserved about it, and they really don't know how to respond to a student in need.
Faced with dangerous decisions, we reveal the one-of-a-kind app helping parents steer teens toward better choices.
And a deadly home invasion. The teen killed. Police link drugs to the crime as the suspects run from the law.
Recovering stolen items. The simple steps you can take so your property finds its way back to you if you fall victim to theft. Plus,
if I went out to get the newspaper, I had mace in my hand.
Fighting back. Faced with threatening phone calls, the actions a woman took to track down her stalker without ever putting herself in danger.
Now, Nevada's first choice for news. This is Channel 8 News Now at 11.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. Well, any parent who's tried to talk to their teen about big issues like sex, drugs, alcohol, gangs, they know it's never easy.
And these days, teens may be more likely to turn to Facebook than family.
But a new interactive tool is helping parents tackle the problems that teens face, and Jamie Guirola is here to explain that.
Paula and Dave, it's called Destructive Issues. It was actually created right here in Las Vegas. When you open the free app, I'm going to do it right here, you'll see that you'll have 20 different issues to choose from, including alcohol, teen pregnancy, and gangs.
And there's so many issues that we'll actually be talking to a parent about, and they'll say, I don't even know what that issue is. How are you going to deal with an issue if you don't know what it is?
There's essentially an app for everything. Now, thousands of people all over the world are using this free app in hopes of helping teenagers solve life struggles.
We received an email from a gentleman who was working with a young lady who was involved with self-mutilation. He had no idea what to tell her, but because of the app, he was able to walk her through the process and get her plugged into the help that she needed.
The app,
here's what can educators do. It gives them step-by-step ways to help a student dealing with these issues.
Designed for parents and teachers, it's broken into two sections. One is awareness. It educates, informs, and provides scenarios.
So that they really start to understand what a student is dealing with. Why would they choose to join a gang? Why would they choose cyberbullying? There are some ways to find out.
Then there's response, step-by-step ways to deal with issues.
What do I do about this? How do I prevent my kid from going through this? How do I actually intervene if my student's already dealing with this? And then actual resources there on where to get help.
If parents need more help, the app can refer parents to pre-approved agencies that deal with specific problems.
A free tool out there that parents can use that's a one-stop shop on all the issues for all the resources, compiled with the experts across the country. It just works, and it is working.
All the information in the app was reviewed and approved by PhDs and the nation's top experts. The application will be available on Droid phones next month. The Southern Nevada Gang Task Force worked with the Turning Point Educational Experience in Las Vegas to produce the app. Paula?
Thanks, Jamie. Tonight we're learning drugs were involved in a deadly home invasion that left a 15-year-old girl dead and a man hospitalized. About 4 this morning, police say 2 suspects broke into this home near Tropicana and Grand Canyon. When officers arrived, they found 15-year-old Alexis Postorino had been shot to death, and a man had also been shot but was still alive. Neighbors heard the gunfire and felt frightened for their own safety.
If I can get bars, I'll get bars. I'll make sure that this place won't be, nobody will be able to get into it.
I'm going to go and buy a steel door, and I'm going to probably buy a firearm. Yeah, I mean, I have to protect my family.
The man is in critical condition at University Medical Center. Anyone with information on the suspects is asked to call Crime Stoppers at 385-5555. Police are hoping you'll take precautions before you're a victim of property crime. With the holiday shopping season underway, North Las Vegas police want to remind you about a free online service. The Report It system allows you to record serial numbers, upload pictures, or scan receipts on those new electronics or jewelry you buy, putting them into a nationwide database. Should your valuables ever be stolen, police can trace it more easily.
This is a great time of year for them to be launching this here, because with the holidays coming up, people will be getting their big screen TVs and so forth. They can go in, take photographs, scan those receipts, and put it all in this database.
You can begin building your personal property inventory list online. We've set up a link at 8newsnow.com.
An agreement that could have an impact on many Americans. After days of meetings, Republicans and the White House have agreed to extend existing tax cuts for the next 2 years. It would also extend unemployment benefits for another 13 months.
It's not perfect, but this compromise is an essential step on the road to recovery.
However, the president still has to get leaders from his own party on board. Some liberal Democrats believe the president gave away too much and didn't get enough in return. President Obama had opposed an extension for people in upper income brackets, but agreed to drop that, and that resulted in Republicans signing off on the unemployment extension.
To the extent that the president wants to do things that I and my members are comfortable with, we want to do that for the country.
For 2 million Americans, the benefits extension would be welcome news, as their jobless benefits are set to expire at the end of this month. But if Congress doesn't pass the plan by the end of the year, taxes will go up for everyone. Several new jobs are available right now. Tomorrow, a job fair will be held for the new Las Vegas Mob Experience. The Tropicana getting ready to open the new attraction. From retail sales to security, many jobs available. Tomorrow's job fair begins at 8 a.m. And a new club at the Luxor is looking to hire ahead of its opening on New Year's Eve. Savile Row is hiring barbacks, bartenders, cocktail servers, and VIP hosts. You must apply in person at the job fair Wednesday from 2:30 to 6:30 p.m. It'll be held at LAX at the Luxor. Also on Wednesday, a job fair will be held at the Palms, the casino resort hiring several part-time and full-time positions. The job fair will be held in the Palms Ballroom from 9 a.m. till 6 p.m. For more details about this and other job fairs we've mentioned, just go to 8newsnow.com and enter the keyword jobs.
Identity fraud is exploding in Nevada. We're ranked 5th in the nation for this 21st century crime, and that's why the governor has named this Identity Theft Awareness Week. Cyber criminals are waiting for you to make big mistakes while holiday shopping. The chief of investigations for the state office of the Attorney General says iPads are a big hook for cyber thieves to find victims this year. They're warning you to beware of any offers for free or heavily discounted iPads. Nevada's unemployed are also being targeted with fake offers for seasonal work.
Work at home, stuffing of envelopes, working computers, secret shopper right now is really large, really something that happens around the holidays. And folks just have to be very careful about someone asking for your personal identification to get a job.
The AG's office also recommends double-checking any promotion to make sure it's legitimate. Plus, keep in mind, thieves don't even need your Social Security number anymore. Just an address or other personal information will help them open up lines of credit.
The man in charge of Clark County Family Services is admitting improvements need to be made to protect children in the county's care. Tom Morton spoke to the I-Team today after a review of more than 80 cases was released. The report looked at cases involving children physically and sexually abused, even murdered, despite being under the umbrella of Child Protective Services. Among the findings, incomplete case files, a lack of communication between the Department of Family Services and the District Attorney's Office, and insufficient training of caseworkers. Morton says while the report shows improvement, more needs to be done.
I think going forward, this shows improvement in the sense that many of the systemic problems we're aware of and have been working on. It's disconcerting always, because any case where things don't go the way it should, or they should, is a problem, and we have a ways to go.
Morton does plan to improve on key issues addressed in the report, including small-scale case reviews involving the District Attorney's Office. To see the report in its entirety, go to our website, 8newsnow.com.
Thousands of parents late on their monthly child support payments have a chance to erase the consequences of their inaction. The District Attorney's program is called Help for the Holidays. It allows parents who are delinquent on support payments a chance to help their kids this holiday season without penalty. Now until Saturday, parents must go to the Family Support Office in person to meet with a counselor to come up with a feasible payment plan. In return, their outstanding warrants and revoked licenses will be dropped.
Well, scarred for life, a woman takes action against a stalker.
If I went out to get the newspaper, I had mace in my hand. If I cut the grass, I had mace in my hand.
The steps this woman took to save her life without ever putting herself in danger.
And a Utah mom's been missing for a full year. Now her husband is promoting a new theory about her disappearance, and it involves a man who went missing in Henderson. Plus,
there's a huge market for anything, Oswald, or even just plain JFK.
Want to own a piece of history? The startling price for one of the final resting places of a notorious American assassin.
All right, so about 24 hours ago, we had some light to moderate rain that was moving through the valley, and now that's all kind of pushed out of the area. You see the satellite shows we got clear skies outside, absolutely beautiful. We were in the 60s today, but how long will that last? We'll take a look at the forecast coming up in a few minutes.
You're watching 8 News Now at 11 with Paula Francis and Dave Cavassier. The news for Southern Nevada is now.
Elizabeth Edwards, who's been battling breast cancer since 2004, has now been told she has just weeks to live.
Her family says Mrs. Edwards is gravely ill. Doctors say any further treatment for her cancer would be unproductive. Today, the family released a statement saying the wife of former Senator John Edwards is resting at home in North Carolina with her friends and family, including her estranged husband. The Edwards have been separated since he admitted to having an extramarital affair while he was campaigning in 2008. An everyday drug is having a dramatic effect on cancer. British researchers pored over archival records of more than 25,000 people who'd been taking aspirin every day for at least 4 up to 8 years. They found the longer patients took aspirin, the more they reduced their risk of dying from cancer. The reduction in risk was significant. For example, a 30% reduction in the risk of dying from lung cancer. But for now, experts agree more research is needed before urging healthy people to take aspirin.
Aspirin has side effects. Aspirin can cause bleeding and other problems. So we do not want to recommend aspirin for our patients across the board.
The dosage being considered is 75 milligrams, which is just about a quarter of what you'd get in a standard aspirin. Aspirin is already available in 81 milligram tablets for fighting heart disease.
The court battle over the same-sex marriage issue played out on live television today. A federal appeals court in San Francisco heard arguments about Proposition 8, which defines marriage as between a man and a woman. Now, the court has to decide on 2 issues. Does Prop 8 violate California's Constitution, and can marriage be defined as a union between same-sex couples? The judges heard arguments for 3 hours. It's unclear when a decision could be made. An Ohio woman took action after getting nightmare phone calls from a stalker. When Lori Russo began getting threatening and violent phone calls, she called police. But in the end, as Jeff Glore explains, she took action that eventually put the stalker behind bars.
For 4 months, a terrified Lori Russo received the disturbing calls, and she had no idea who it was.
I just kept getting progressively angrier.
In repeated calls to her home number, the caller would tell Lori there was nowhere to hide, threatening her and her son. He knew details about where she lived. He said he'd been on her porch and in her hot tub. He always seemed to know when she was home.
If I went out to get the newspaper, I had mace in my hand. If I cut the grass, I had mace in my hand. I tried to not work in my yard unless my neighbors were out.
Lori installed security systems, reinforced all her windows, and deadbolted her bedroom every evening. The police ran phone taps, learning the calls usually came from local gas stations. But every time she called 911, he was gone before police arrived. So she investigated on her own, creating a spreadsheet of the incoming phone numbers and the corresponding gas stations. When she received a call, she immediately phoned the gas station and asked if they saw anyone. Finally, it worked.
I answered the phone, and the person on the other end said there was a car on the parking lot and they need the license plate number.
Attendant Thomas McComas was able to catch the license plate of this man, Dr. George Bishop. Surveillance video would later show Bishop using the payphone at the exact time Lori received the call. Although his motivation is still unknown, Lori and her son Brennan can finally sleep soundly, knowing the threats have finally come to an end.
That was Jeff Glore reporting. Bishop will be sentenced in February. He faces a maximum sentence of 18 years behind bars.
It's been a full year since Susan Powell vanished from her Salt Lake City home. Now her husband is offering a new theory about what happened to her. Josh Powell's website says he believes his wife ran away with a missing St. George man, Stephen Kocher. The website cites similarities between Mrs. Powell and Kocher, pointing out both are Mormons, about the same age, and they disappeared around the same time. Kocher disappeared a year ago next week after parking his car in Henderson. However, one of Susan's friends says Josh Powell's theory is light on reality and heavy on desperation.
I think that it shows more than ever that they're trying everything they can to deflect attention away from Josh and in suspicions away from Josh.
As for Powell, his sister says her brother lacks credibility. Police say he is also the only person of interest in the case of Susan's disappearance.
Well, standing water could get in the way of your commute. Crews for the Las Vegas Valley Water District are trying to fix a water main near Desert Inn and Nellis right now. You can see in this video shot by Chopper 8 water gushing into the street. Drivers are urged to use Vegas Valley or Boulder Highway until the water main is fixed. Crews are expected to be working on this repair until Wednesday, and lane closures are possible.
Streets were wet for another reason this morning.
They were, yes. Wasn't that nice? First time since October we had measurable rain out at the airport. That wasn't a whole lot, but we'll take whatever we can get, right?
The streets a little bit.
So that rain is now long gone, and now we're just getting ready for an absolutely beautiful week of weather where temperatures are really going to be pretty mild. The average high, folks, should be in the upper 50s, and we've got highs on the 70 forecast in the mid to upper 60s. So outside tonight, it's cool out there. We're currently at 48 degrees out at the airport. The key there is that wind out of the south-southwest at 9 miles per hour that will provide the warmth for the entire week. El Dorado, you're at 51. West Alexandria, you're at 50. West Alta, you're at 45. East Sahara right now at 47. So you head over towards the east, we're talking about upper 40s. Van Wagenen is still warm at 53. Seven Hills, you're at 49. Rachel, below the freezing mark. Tonopah, you're at 36. You head down towards Searchlight at 53. And farther down the south, Laughlin currently at 56 degrees. So for the sixth day in a row, we were now in the 60s. So we had all that cold air at the end of November. Now we have this nice ridge of high pressure in place. And look at these numbers today. Highs in the mid to upper 60s. Mesquite topped out at 66. Pahrump, your high today at 61. Laughlin at 70. And then farther down toward the south, Red Rock, your high today at 56 degrees. Now back here at home in Las Vegas, this is nice, pleasant. The normal high 59 and 38, the normal low. Today's high 62, and last night only made it down to 47 degrees. So here's what's going on. High pressure is control and will be in control for the entire week. So as long as we have this ridge of high pressure in place, we're talking about highs in the 60s. Remember, the normal high should be 59 degrees. By tomorrow, the normal high will be 58 degrees, but it'll be about 5, 6, 7 degrees warmer because of this ridge of high pressure that's in place for the entire week. All right, temperature-wise, for us, not too bad. We're currently at 50. Reno at 36. Boise at 35. Denver right now at the freezing mark. As you head over towards the Midwest, it gets very, very cold, and even down towards Florida. Right now, Chicago at 17, Minneapolis at 13. Look at Atlanta currently at 27 degrees. They have this Arctic air invasion that's kind of pulling all this cold air down to the south, and that's why tomorrow, maybe the next couple of days, if you're heading down to Florida, don't be fooled because they have freeze warnings in effect for tonight, tomorrow, and into Wednesday because it's so cold down there to the south. Look at this, the radar with all that cold air in place. You got some moisture, some lake effect snow up towards Detroit, Cleveland, up towards Buffalo, extending all the way into portions of New York and all the way up towards Maine. So cold there, any moisture is going to turn to snow. All right, back here at home, it's quiet. We'll get down to about 42 tonight. Absolutely beautiful tomorrow with a high of 64 degrees. That's 5 degrees warmer than normal. And then the 70 forecast looks very, very nice. Pretty nice for the first couple weeks of December here. Look at that. Highs in the mid 60s, mid to upper 60s, and overnight lows in the mid 40s. There you go. Dave and Paul, back to you guys.
You have a few days left to help children here in the Valley this holiday season. Our Toys for Tots drive is underway. Now until Friday, just drop off a new unwrapped toy either here at Channel 8 or at any Smith's location in the Valley. To see a whole list of spots to drop off toys, just go to 8newsnow.com.
So not much of a Monday night game tonight, huh?
No, not really, unfortunately, because it was supposed to be a classic. That's what it was all meant out to be. Las Vegas, or excuse me, Monday Night Football was supposed to be that big game. Well, it was a classic rout. The Brady Bunch toying with the Jets. Brady breaks a record in the process. Plus, the Rebels, one of a handful of teams with 8 wins, no losses. More next here on 8 News Now.